Hello kids, today we are going to continue our chapter number 4, that is what books and burials tell us. Yesterday we saw the Vedas. There are 4 Vedas: Rig Veda, Sam Veda, Yajur Veda and Atharva Veda. Now Sanskrit and other languages. Sanskrit is a part of a family of languages known as Indo-European. Some Indian languages such as Assamese, Gujarati, Hindi, Kashmiri and Sindhi. Asian languages such as Persian and many European languages such as English, French, German, Greek, Italian and Spanish belong to this family. They are called a family because they originally had words in common. Take the words matra in Sanskrit, ma in Hindi and mother in English. So do you notice any similarities? So other languages used in the subcontinent belong to different families. For instance, those used in the northeast belong to the Tibeto-Burman family. Tamil, Telugu, Kannada and Malayalam belong to the Dravidian family. And the languages spoken in Jharkhand and parts of the central India belong to the Austro-Asiatic family. So list the languages you have heard about and try and identify the families to which they belong. So we will see the page number 38, cattle, horses and chariots. Now important thing. So there are many prayers in the Rig Veda for cattle, children and horses. Horses were yoked to chariots that were used in battles which were fought to capture cattle. Battles were also fought for land which was important for pasture and for growing hardy crops that ripened quickly such as barley. Some battles were fought for water and to capture people. In the Rig Veda, there are prayers for cattle, sons, and horses. So, cattle was important for food, horses for battle, and sons to fight in the battles. So, some of the wealth that was obtained was kept by the leaders, some was given to the priests, and the rest was distributed amongst the people. Some wealth was used for the performance of yajnas or sacrifices in which offerings were made into the fire. These were meat for gods and goddesses. Offerings could include ghee, grain, and in some cases, animals. Most men took part in these wars. There was no regular army, but there were assemblies where people met and discussed matters of war and peace. They also chose leaders who were often brave and skillful warriors. So now reason for battle. Why did these people fight battles? Battles are usually for land. The people needed land for the cattle to graze. They also needed land to grow crops. They also fought to capture land that had water or to conquer people. So who fought the battles? It was men who fought these wars. There were no standing armies for the battles. The people met, discussed where and how to fight, chose a leader, and fought the war. Then, what did they do with the wealth? Some wealth was kept with the leaders, some wealth was given to the priest, some wealth was used for yajnas, and the rest was distributed among the people. Now, most men took part in these wars. There was no regular army, but there were assemblies where people met and discussed matters of war and peace. They also chose leaders who were often brave and skillful warriors. Now, what are yajnas? Yajnas were grand rituals around a big fire. The yajna was for a certain god or goddesses. Some sacrifices were made which were offerings for God. Usually the sacrifice was ghee or grain. It could even be animals. Now, words to describe people. There are several ways of describing people in terms of the work they do, the language they speak, the place they belong to, their family, their communities, and cultural practices. Let us see some of the words used to describe people found in the Rig Veda. There are two groups who are described in terms of their work. The priests, sometimes called Brahmins, who performed various rituals, and the Rajas. These Rajas were not like the ones you will be learning about later. They did not have capital cities, palaces, or armies, nor did they collect taxes. Now, the very early Rigvedic tribes were nomadic warrior tribes. Later, as they settled down, they became a farming community. They traded using the barter method, that is, exchanging cattle, salt, or precious metal. They used bulls and oxen to draw carts and horses for chariots. The cow was considered sacred. Hurting or killing cows was not allowed. The punishment for killing cows was banishment or even death. Though there was no law, the people paid the king for looking after them. This payment was called bali. Later, it became a compulsory tax. Later, the people started using standard coins and standard weights. They also worked in occupations like pottery, weaving, metalwork, carpentry, etc. There were shrenis of craftsmen. They helped each other and provided training too. These people traveled a lot. There are mentions in the Vedas about sea journeys too. They also did a lot of long distance trade. Now, the smallest unit of society was the family. Many families together formed Gram. The head of the Gram was the Gramni. Many villages together formed a Vish. The head of the Vish was the Vishpati. Many such clans formed the Jana. The head of the Jana was the Raja, and the Raja was assisted by the Senapati, Purohit, and other such officers. He had to protect his people from enemies. The leaders of the people. The king did not take all decisions by himself. Two organizations assisted him, that is, Sabha and Samiti. In Sabha, group of people elected from the people themselves, and in Samiti, elderly and wise people, experts, and various subjects. So, in many places, the son succeeded the father as king, and even amongst the common people, the son inherited the father's property. However, there were some instances where kings were democratically elected by the people. So, we will continue this chapter in our next video.